So today we're going to be looking at the top 5 best players in each position, starting with the goalkeepers. Now I haven't included hero icons because prices are still so stupid for them, to be honest, and we've gone through the list of icons so many times already. We are waiting for a new batch and also the second week of champs to then hopefully get some sort of balance in their cost. At the minute they are still very high for what you're actually paying for. But in terms of keepers, when looking at the golds, I feel like there is only a few that you'd actually even go for, to be honest. I think the only other ones missing out on this list, Sommer, maybe even a Minyan, some of the heroes, maybe if you're going for the heroes, but there isn't necessarily many specials at the moment. I don't even think, well, we've had a couple of the lower ones, Sanchez, probably not. You've then got ter Stegen, but to be honest, I'd probably go with the keepers I've already got there. Maybe Martinez if you're looking for a very bog standard Prem, and then possibly a Nick Pope still, but to be honest, he's pretty much in the dust anyway. So I think Oblak, Donnarumma, Ederson, Alisson, and Courtois would be my favourites. Courtois is my number 1 favourite at the moment. I think Ederson was definitely the kind of glitchiest with that long ball plus, but they have since got rid of, or at least nerfed, the long ball pass accuracy, so that it's not necessarily as total accurate, but it will still definitely work. Like, they won't have completely got rid of it. It's just that not every single ball is going to go crazy over the top straight onto that run. But let me know down below what keeper you're using, and if you subscribe watching it down there, it's always appreciated. On to the left backs. If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins, with the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. Now it is a little bit tricky with not necessarily a crazy amount of specials. We have got the Total Rush promo coming with Mbappe, Tchouameni, KDB, Ronaldo. There's some others that are big names that I can't remember, but there's a huge list already of some top names. So we're already going into that portion where the top card's already getting an evolution. We've got Theo Hernandez here with a lovely team of the week already. It's just a 1 upgrade, so naturally, if it wasn't for his inform, his gold card would be in this position regardless. Bruiser Plus got himself a couple of roles. He can play the role false back plus as well. Ferland Mendy, it's quite an easy one, to be honest. He's incredible. And an upgrade, which is even better. We've got Alphonso Davies, more of a kind of a speed freak. Undogi, who has been incredible as a very budgetable Prem player. And then also Batcher as the whipped pass plus. If you are looking for crosses, Haaland's in the middle, Kane, Lewandowski, anybody with that head in nature, she is going to be an absolute force to be able to go with. And she does have that attacking wing back plus as well. So just so you know, you can actually use her there. So I do think it's quite a simple, straightforward one. When it comes to maybe a couple of others that would be in there, Sakina really comes to mind. And to be honest, that's probably about it for the left backs. Nuno Mendes as a cheaper option, but not necessarily one that I would naturally go for. So it will be interesting once we start to see like an Undogi evolution or upgrade to take him up a level, same as Alphonso Davies, and whether we see Mendy before team of the season this time round will always be an interesting one as well. Now in terms of right backs, this one is definitely more impressive with some of them. I think the top 3 I've personally got are absolutely nuts. From Frimpong, Walker, Gusto, Hakimi, and also Kounde. Now Kounde can obviously go into kind of a centre back and is definitely more preferred as a centre back to start with. I do think he can play a very good right back if you already have some good centre backs in there. If you've got your Virgil and Saliba, if you've got Militao, Arejo, then maybe swapping him over to the right back could be a good move. He's one of the best at the at La Liga, which is going to be perfect. You've got Hakimi, who is rapid and waiting for another upgrade. Gusto has had a phenomenal upgrade in himself, only missing really a playstyle plus, but there is the chance, and I think a very good chance, that Chelsea do finish top 2 in the Conference League. So that could be almost a guaranteed 88 with a Playstyle Plus after they do finish the league format in the Conference League. So that's going to be a very interesting card to keep tabs on, and a very good card nonetheless. But the top two for me are always going to be Walker at this point. Very good pace. Defending physical can always have that upgrade, but he's still absolutely solid as a rock. And again, waiting for another upgrade. Whereas Frimpong has got himself a lovely upgrade. No playstyle plus as of yet, which we're seeing across the board, so that is fine. He also has the chance to go up if Bayer Leverkusen do manage to do something in the Champions League. They win the 3 matches. They score the goal in 4 matches as well. You could see a 90 Frimpong, which would be very interesting indeed. And even if it's kind of good that I don't know how many in total games there is in the league, but if they do manage to at least get the score 1 goal in the 4 different matches, they don't have to win it. It could mean that some upgrades are there for absolutely every card. It's the win in the 3 matches some might struggle with, some might actually do it pretty easily. So I'm open for him. He will be an interesting one. I think the right backs, again, very, very standard, but centre backs is where it's at. Because when you look at the list of centre backs, there's just some absolute talent. So you've got road to the knockout Romero, inform Van de Ven. You've got yourself Arejo as a road to the knockout, team of the week Militao, end of an era Varane already, gold Rudiger, gold Saliba, and knockouts Virgil van Dijk. Now, obviously with Virgil van Dijk, it doesn't matter if it's his knockout or his gold. He is impeccable. Again, we knew this from the start. We knew Van Dijk would be number 1. I don't think there's any questions there, really. There is definitely arguments, probably for like the top 5 in general. Personally, for me, I've been a big fan of Saliba on this. He has been wonderful in the team. So he is definitely going in my number 2. And I think it kind of helps with the balance as well, having the aerial plus for Virgil, then having the anticipate for Saliba. It just works really well as a defensive partnership, whereas some of them don't quite have it. You've obviously got bruiser plus, intercept, no playstyle plus, block, and nothing else on the other 2. So it is interesting to see where people go, but again, there is so many different combinations. I think you could have any 2 from this list and still be okay. Maybe like a Romero Van de Ven partnership might not be completely meta in that way, but it would still be absolutely fine. Like Van de Ven is just an absolute freak of nature in a centre-back. He is incredible. Obviously getting the great links to Virgil if you wanted to do that, and his 84 is only the beginning of hopefully some very good cards throughout the year. We do have the likes of Arejo, Militao as the 2 La Liga captains here, as well as then Rudiger, who's just an absolute monster in himself as well. I am surprised we got Varane's end of era. I'm like, it's good, like it gives me very much Blanc vibes from the start of last year, but I would have really liked to have maybe seen a final end of era for him instead, like a 94 at the end of the game. I just think it would have been slightly better, but I suppose at the very minimum, you will be able to evolve him at some point. That's bound to be able to happen later on in the game, obviously. So it will be interesting to see how many people do truly do him, especially when you have got Thuram, and Varane as all French Serie A players. So that's always going to be a fantastic one for them. But a great list of centre-backs, some absolute monsters, and hopefully more to come. Now into the actual solid CDMs. Now, I don't naturally play a solid CDM or a solid cam. Most of the time it's a 2 centre mids, and it's kind of like a DM but more of a box to box and kind of attacking or box to box. So it's very hard to kind of rate these as they are all very similar. Now, I have used every single one of these. Obviously, Conte was my starting one. We've tried Rodri. Couldn't quite get behind him because we did get Tonali, who has been a breath of fresh air. And Tchouaméni was, we got him right at the start, but he was too expensive not to miss out on that little price. But he, again, was a very good purchase. Patry, we've currently got. Interesting with her because obviously the long ball pass has been slightly nerfed. So it will be interesting to see where her price truly does lie, because I want to say I bought her a lot more expensive than that. Let's have a little laugh together, because I'm pretty sure I did buy her at a considerable price, more so than that. So Patry, what do we buy her at? Oh, okay. I'm thinking of somebody else then. 55. Down to probably about 30. It's not the worst in the world, but again, it's a little bit of an L there. So I do think with all of these, they do have different, it's almost like different attributes that they kind of bring together. So obviously when we look at the Conte, he's had an upgrade in himself. He's got a bit more pace. The Intercept Plus is absolutely magnificent. It's one of my favourites as a DM. He does naturally have some limitations being only 85, but he still can absolutely rock it. Rodri, pace aside, is a phenomenal player. On the ball, his passing is wonderful. Defensively is absolutely sound. Got a bit of tiki-taka in him as well for an extra play style plus. I think he works the ball really well. Whereas Patry was all about getting the ball back, the interceptions, and then get a long ball pass over the top of the striker or down the wing. That's literally the two things that she did, and it was just effortless for her. Now it's slowly coming away from that long ball pass. It'll be interesting to see how much the meta truly changes over foot gems, but I still think she can do the job there really, really well. Tchouaméni is kind of what I see as kind of like Tonali, just with a little bit less pace. Tonali obviously with the 84 pace, whereas we've got 73 on Tchouaméni, and then every other stat is slowly behind him as well. We're seeing a 3-star versus a 3-star 4-star, and I think both of these could be interchanged, and once they get the upgrade, we will see one go ahead of the other if they don't get the same upgrade on the same promo. Now into the box to boxes. Now I had to bring in Thuram here because it's just someone that you always have to mention as much as possible, so you do him. I'm going to do him today, so don't give me that look that you see, hold on, he's in concepts. I'm going to do him today, but he is well worth doing at the minimum. Not only for right now to solidify a centre mid spot if you're struggling, but also for a potential evolution in the future. He is an absolute must, especially if you have done the other Thuram or if you are going to do the other Thuram. Make sure, and especially if you've done Varane as well, you might as well get him done. Loftus-Cheek, though, in my opinion, slightly better. He's got the 4-4 rather than the 3-3. Stats are very, very similar. They are kind of in that physical, defensive, dribbling, passing zone, then some decent pace and a little bit of shooting. I think both of these together are a wonderful box-to-box pairing if you can. Whereas then we go into kind of like the La Liga and the Liga F. You've obviously got Putellas and also Bonmati, both stunning in their own right. You got a 5-5 and a 4-5. Incredible works. Now obviously we've got the technical and the first touch, not the greatest playstyle pluses I might add, but in terms of stats they are absolutely down to a T. They've both got different roles here that they can do in Playmaker Plus and also Shadow Striker and Playmaker Plus Plus, so you would only really need one or the other. Now my favourite is going to be Putellas, as much as I have got Bonmati, and she also is 91 rated rather than 90, but Putellas has just been incredible throughout the years, so she is on my list as a need to get. Whereas we do have the two La Liga boys in De Jong and also the brand new inform in Valverde. He is again one of my favourite box to boxes, favourite centre mids. He's now come down in price massively from like 2.5 mil yesterday all the way down to 800. Even the gold card would still be absolutely on the number one in my opinion. It's just an easy box to box to get along with. Now into the cams, we've got the two Bundesliga boys to start with in Musiala and also Wirtz. Both have the kind of right stats that you need. Obviously, dribbling's on a very high priority with a bit more shooting on Musiala, but incisive pass on Wirtz, which is my personal favourite. You got a 5-4 versus a 4-4, and in terms of everything else, it's very similar. Obviously, Wirtz has more of the passing, hence the incisive plus, whereas Musiala has a bit more on the pace and also a little bit more on the shooting and dribbling. So in terms of them together, they both have different roles. Obviously, Musiala and Wirtz both can do Shadow Striker plus plus, but with Wirtz he can do the wide player plus if you want to put him on a left mid, and also a playmaker plus. So different roles that you could add to them. I think both of them are worth an absolute look in if you can. KDB, very much like Rodri, the pace is kind of irrelevant for him because his passing is next level. The best gold card at passing, incisive pass plus, half winger plus plus, playmaker on both centre mid and cam plus. He is just a wonderful assister of the ball. Now obviously we want to see what happened to Kane, give him a 15 pace upgrade on his next card, which is going to be in Total Rush, and I do hope he gets a big upgrade for it, but we'll have to wait and see on Friday to see where he goes. But a stunning card if you can, but it's got to be Dybala and also Bellingham. The knockouts are in full swing. We've got a 90 and a 91, 5-star, 3-star versus a 4-4. Bellingham's one of my favourite midfielders already. We've managed to get his 90. I haven't been so lucky to get the 91 plus, but it will be an interesting card to have a look at, and I think even the gold card is still absolutely incredible. He could be associated more of a box-to-box, but I've gone where his position tells me, and he is wonderful at that role. Very much like Dybala, if he was to get that 4-star weak foot up, you are absolutely laughing with them stats already. Now, as we've got quite a lot of wingers, I've put a couple of extras in, because to be honest, I think you could argue across the board, really. I know Neymar's not in this, but I wasn't necessarily a massive fan of him, to be honest. I'm not a fan of Trickster Plus. I think it's okay, but it's not necessarily my greatest playstyle plus. Vinny will obviously take the cake in this one. His lovely team of the week with a 5-4, the quick step plus, is just brilliant. But we are looking across the board here at some of the young guns in Garnacho, Doku, and also Barcola as all of the knockouts. All very good in their own right. You've obviously got a 4-4, a 4-3, and a 4-4. But I do think this is a great start for them. Whether they do see upgrades on Doku and Barcola, Garnacho's got no hope if we carry on this way. But if we do see an upgrade for them, you could look at either an 89 Doku and Barcola, or even a potential 90 Garnacho, which would just be nuts. Diaz and Nico Williams up next. We've got the 4-4 versus the 4-5. Obviously, one being an expired SBC now, I'm pretty sure. But both very good in their own rights for pace. Very much like Leao, but Leao is gold, which is just crazy in himself already. The 5-4, rapid plus, same as Nico Williams, in fact. And just that little bit extra shooting over Nico. Whereas, obviously, Diaz has kind of got that dribbling and shooting absolutely down for a T. But I do think Sonny Baby has got to be up there as well. Left wing striker, wherever you want to put him, he is an absolute machine. He's got the finesse shot plus, which is just broken outside the box, and he works it to an absolute T. Then we've got the same for the right wings. Now, Hansen is definitely my favourite at the moment. As much as I'm not a big fan of the Trickster Plus, the 5-5 in her is just absolutely nuts. Salah, Dembele, Foden, Diani, Messi, Traore, Yamal, and also the brand new Saka. Saka, unfortunately, is just one of them cards that just never catches a break. He's either not had the right upgrade, he's too late for the upgrade, or there is just a better person in that position literally the same week or the week before that everybody's got. He just does not manage to get into a team unless you're building an Arsenal past and present, and it's such a shame because he is a very good card. Still missing a playstyle plus on this one, but wasn't expecting it too much from a first team of the week. Yamal, obviously, with a player of the month. Both of these are interchangeable as well. I think you could argue between them both. Traore, rapid plus, even if it has been taken slightly down with the L1 boost being slightly fixed, and then obviously the long ball pass going down, I still think he's going to be rapid if you can get the right dribbling. The rapid plus, the technical plus, and the quick step plus is always going to be effective. You've just got to utilize it in a different way. We then have Messi. Messi's always got to be on the list. I think his dribbling is just next level in itself. We saw the same from last year. A cam striker Messi is exactly where it's at, but he is just brilliant in himself. Whereas Diani was one of my favourites last year. She again needs that playstyle plus, but already has got the lovely 4-star, 5-6 with great pace, great shooting, great dribbling. Which leads us kind of like to that top 4. Foden's very good in the game. I could probably argue between this and maybe having him more so associated with a cam than a right wing, but I still think he can do a wonderful job there. And Dembele, Salah and Hansen are all elite in their own way. Dembele could be arguably better than Salah in my opinion. Again, with his 5-5, I think it just adds that next level. The only thing that's keeping Salah there for me at the minute is that finesse shot plus. It is broken, and on that cutting, it's just wonderful. Which then leads us to the strikers. Now, we've got a very good list that we'll go through. Strikers are very much your bread and butter. This is what everybody wants. Everybody wants Mbappe. He's getting a total rush card that everybody will be opening packs for, and I pray that everybody does get him, or at least I get him. But Mbappe is number one, obviously. Even if you had all the icons and heroes in, I still think he probably comes in as number one. He's just perfect for the game. His body type's perfect. His pace is perfect. The shooting, the dribbling, everything is absolutely nuts for this kid, and it just works really, really well. Haaland, obviously being a player of the month, I do think he's a very good card. Now, I do think you could argue between some of them, like Sophia Smith is definitely not one to argue with. She, again, in her own right, is incredible at the game. If she had that kind of broken playstyle plus, she could be up there most definitely. Same as Sammy Kerr, very good on the card. Hunter with the finesse shot plus easily one of the better cards. Same as Alvarez with his road to the knockout. Whether we see something kind of upgrade from him, which I can imagine we more than likely will. Griezmann with a finesse shot plus. If you've not tried him, give him a try, because the finesse is incredible for him, and the kind of tricky feet, the left stick dribbling, does wonders for him. Harry Kane with one of the best upgrades on a first promo I've seen. A 1 upgrade, but a 15 upgrade on the pace. Shooting's impeccable for him, and just a very, very good upgrade from his 90 rated. And Peugeot was obviously here more towards the rapid plus. I still think she could do a job with that shooting and pace, and also dribbling, but I think she was definitely more beneficial with the L1 speed boost. It'd be interesting to see where she can go. Maybe you push her back onto the left wing instead. But that's going to be the list. Let me know down below what you think. Have you got any of these top players? And leave them in the comment section below. I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.